So if you've watched the first couple of videos of the series, you'll be able to see that there's some good opportunity in LinkedIn. And now if you watch video 3, which you're about to see, there's some really nice advanced techniques that we use on a daily basis. So hopefully you can enjoy some of these tips. One of the really cool things you might want to do with LinkedIn is something that I really don't see many people doing at the moment, and that's a bit of remarketing. So they've made it quite difficult to get hold of your data now, but if you've got a decent sized network, and there's my network, so I want to know those people. I want to be able to market to them and show my promotions not just on LinkedIn but on other social media. I want to be able to email them. Got to be careful emailing them, because a lot of people use personal email addresses on LinkedIn now, or when they set their account up years ago, LinkedIn was purely a job site. So a lot of people used personal email addresses, and when you look through your contact list, you will see a lot of personal emails, and you've got to be careful emailing them nowadays. So if you click on your profile photo up here in the top bar and choose privacy and settings, and then scroll down a little bit, you're going to see getting an archive of your data. So I've actually just clicked this, but if you click this and choose fast file, it will send you an email of your data, and you'll be able to extract that. So at that point, we're going to move on to the interesting bit. I'm back in my LinkedIn inbox on my Outlook. Here's a really, really good example of what I don't like about the way some people go about connections. So I've connected with this guy today, 1:58 p.m. I think we connected, and at 2:15 I've already got a sales message. So if I click on see more, and John Asquith, Action Coach UK. This is clearly automated. Hi Simon, thanks for accepting my connection request. With your permission, would it be okay for one of my team to give you a call and set up a conversation between us? Okay, it's pretty direct, but John, no. Please don't immediately automatically send. You can see, look, we only connected today, and within minutes, I've got a very direct sales message. I know it'll work for some people, but it's not the way to do it, really. So what's the best type of content to post on LinkedIn? I personally have an absolute distaste for advertising, sales messages, blatant, this is what we do, and this is our product. There's no reason why you should be posting really any advertorial type of content. You don't need to. Social media is social media, and what happened in social media was 5, 6, 7 years ago, most of the social media networks started to get going, and most of the directors of the businesses that were sort of saying at the time, I really, really need to be on social, were women, directors were 40 plus, not really in the technology, internet generation, and turned round to their marketing department and said, just get somebody to do our social media. That meant, in effect, that a lot of people got involved in doing social media because they were straight out of college. So these people who are straight out of college, 18 to 20-year-olds, they must understand social, mustn't they? They're of that generation. They understand social. So unfortunately, those people didn't understand marketing, and all they understood was, well, what we need to do is post up, this is our product, this is who we are, and this is how you come and buy it. And therefore 95% of businesses on the internet immediately became posting adverts about what they do, and the products that they've got, not really how they could help their customers. So, social media overnight just became a mass of advertising, and we all got bored with that. And to some extent, it's still like that today. You don't turn the television on to watch the adverts, but people are still posting advert after advert after advert on social. Social's about a conversation. I wouldn't come up to you in the pub and just blurt out, I do digital marketing. This is what I do. I do SEO. I do content marketing. I want to have a conversation with someone. So the best type of content you can post onto social is conversational. You might want to be a bit controversial. You want to comment on other people's content, but make it interesting. Don't just push your product all the time. This leads me into, it's far better to be constantly active on social and involved and conversational than it is to be advertorial. So, try and stick with that as a rule if you can. So I've talked before about some people recommending sending a thank you for connecting message on LinkedIn, and it's one of my pet hates. It's just plain annoying. It's not what it's here for, but we find it's far better to message people a week or two later and say, I've taken the time to have a look at your profile. So, you might look in your network, look for people within your network, your first connections. Now, ideally, I would do that within Sales Navigator. So if I can search for, let's have a look for Doncaster, which is my local town, and let's look for my first connections, and I'm going to have a look at directors. So let's have a look at directors and find somebody within that. So I'm going to say, and e-commerce. So I've got 10 people. So let's have a look at messaging one of these people. Now, let's have a look at Nigel. He works for Victoria Plum. I've had a little bit of contact with them in the past, but let's say, hi, Nigel. I'd really be interested to have a chat with you. We've been helping e-commerce companies in the area, and for some gained 10 to 12 times ROI on their PPC campaigns. There's my little advert for me, that's what we can do. But, let's ask him a question. Have you, or are you currently using an agency? I'd be interested to know if you've had good or bad experiences with the level of work produced. So I'm just going to say to him, are you having a good time? Have you had good work out of agencies before? Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. You normally find it's probably 50-50. So let's see whether he responds. I've given him maybe he's got a bit of pain with his current agency, and I've given him some decent figures to say, we've done this with other people. I can quite happily show him examples of that. So at that point, I can send it. So, just working steadily like this and sending a few meaningful messages to key individuals, you are going to get response. Don't forget to ask a question. Moving on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and reach out to a new connection, but I'm going to do it in a way that is a little bit, it's going to give the person a lot more incentive to connect with me. So I've done a search, I've looked for Wakefield, and I've come up with a list. So let's say I want to talk to Caroline, and she's a marketing director of Podo. So if I do shared connections, these are the people that I'm connected with. They are my first connections, but I'm connected through them to Caroline. Let's have a look at Leah. Now, if I open her in a new window, I've viewed her profile, so she's seen that I've viewed her, hopefully. I'm going to send her a message, and that message is going to be, let's just see if I can copy and paste this. Good idea to keep these sort of messages on a file. So I'm going to say, "Hi Leah, I noticed you are connected to," and that is Caroline Wakefield. So let's just open that up again. You're connected to Caroline Wakefield. Wanted to reach out to her and wondered if it'd be okay if I mention your name. Thanks, and hope your business is great. Anything I can help you with, let me know. So I'm asking for a favour, offering a favour. Maybe I'll get some response or return from Leah, but this is not the object of the exercise, but I have created a conversation, so let's send that. And I'm going to copy Leah's name. And now I'm going to go back to Caroline. So here's Caroline. I'm going to send a connection request to her. And I'm going to say, so if we go down here, and I go, I'm going to replace that message with paste this in here. So I see we're both connected to Leah. And we have known each other for some time, and I value networking in the right way. I told her I would be reaching out to you and thought it would be a good connection to make. So if I send that invitation, at that point, I've involved Leah and Caroline in the process. I've got much greater chance of the connection being accepted, and also I've got involved with one of my first connections and offered some work or asked for a favour. So, that in itself is a great way to generate connections and conversations. Okay, so this is going to be probably one of the more valuable little tips that I can give you for using LinkedIn. I explained earlier that you can get a download of all of your account history, your data, everything. So what you want to do, for those of you who didn't see that bit, click on your profile photo up here, go to privacy and settings, scroll down a little bit, and you will see getting an archive of your data. I've already done this, so mine is ready to download, but if yours isn't, it will say choose a file. So just choose fast file, and you'll have to wait about 10 or 15 minutes before LinkedIn email you. When that email comes through, so I'll just show you what that looks like. So when that email comes through from LinkedIn, it will look like this. Your LinkedIn data archive is ready. And hi Simon, your LinkedIn data is ready. You can download it here. So if I click that, it will take me back here to click download. So you would download it at that point, and your zip file comes in. Now, if you then open that zip folder, you will get something like this. So you've got all of your data, your history, your projects, your positions. The bit we want is the contacts here. So if I open the contacts, it will come through and look something like this. So you've got first name, last name, company, title, email address, etc. You're going to have to do a little bit of work with this file, because what we're trying to do is to be able to, you could go and email these people, but I don't suggest it, because a lot of these are personal email addresses, and you could get yourself into trouble if you're sending a business email to a personal email address. But all of that sort of legislation's in place now. So what we're trying to do, what I want you to do is, and what's very useful, is to create a Facebook audience from those people. Now, you might say, why do I want a Facebook audience created from my LinkedIn connections? Well, if you can put content in front of your LinkedIn connections, which is about your business, it's another touch point, and it really does have a really good return on investment. So what you're going to need to do is get into your Facebook ad manager. You need to get to audiences. If anybody's really stuck with this, just bung me an email to simon.young@limitless.agency, and I'll try and help you out. Basically, if you search on Google, create custom audience on Facebook, that's, this is the page it should end you up on, providing you've got a business manager account. So you'd go create audience, create a custom audience, and at that point we have got the option to create from a customer file. If you're a business and you're not doing this sort of thing, and you can do this from any file, it could be a file of existing customers, you're missing an opportunity anyway. So choose a file, and at that point you've got all of these different things that you can add in. Now, from our basic, our download file from LinkedIn, what we want to do is get it into this format, and I'll show you. So having done a bit of work, just cutting out a couple of columns, I've got first name in this column, I've got last name, LN here, last name. Notice some people have their last names as, marketing director, for example, confetti and lace. Some people are using various things. What we're going to ask Facebook to do is look for these email addresses. So if somebody has used this email address to create a Facebook account, then they will be added to our custom audience. By all means, we won't get all of these, but if we get half, 3/4, we're going to be really, really happy. So you create your file, having downloaded your data from LinkedIn, give it a bit of formatting, get it right. Then you're going to go upload file, and I've called it here LinkedIn to Facebook. I'm going to import that, and we're going to give the audience a name. So let's call it LinkedIn Contacts audience. Let's give it a date because it might be relevant. So let's call it, well, I'm currently at June 2017. Next. Just check that the fields are mapping up properly. So I've got FN, which is my first name field. Those are the first names. LN, last name. Email addresses and phone numbers. So at that point, I'm going to go upload and create. And you can see it upload and import. And at that point, it's created an audience. So if I click done, what you're going to see is LinkedIn contacts audience June 2017. That's there. I've now got to wait. And if I wait, Facebook will match those email addresses up for me. So we'll come back and see what we've got left, or see what data we've got. So, while we're waiting for our Facebook audience to be created on the Facebook ads platform from our LinkedIn connections, I just wanted to say to you, some of the things you want to do, let's just share some content regularly. It's not hard, try and have a think about what your audience want to see. What are their problems? A lot of my customers are, for example, restaurant groups or e-commerce businesses, SMEs. Been to see a customer today, disappointed with his website, or not disappointed, to be honest. He said to me, it's a couple of years old, we're looking for a redesign. So one of the things I might put is, is your website over 2 years old? I saw a customer today who felt like his website was now out of date, even though it is responsive. I'm going to ask a question now. So how often have you as a business rebranded or had your website redesigned? So I'm indirectly selling, I've asked a question, told them I'm talking to other customers, but I want to know, how often do businesses rebrand or have their websites redesigned? That's a reasonable question, should get some response, but that's the sort of thing that drives some discussion. It's a genuine question. So try and think along those lines of what you can be posting just to be active, and you've seen me create that just off the top of my head. So just stay in people's eye line. That's all you need to do. So one of the other things that's always good to do is just keep an eye on your notifications. In the past, I've written some quite controversial articles. You can call them clickbait, but it keeps me in the eye of my customers because I get a lot of comments. So take this one, for example. I wrote an article, "The Recruitment Industry to Die in 2018. It's got nearly 7,000 likes, a couple of thousand comments. I do get quite a lot of people talking to me on a regular basis. If I go back to the original article, you can see I've got 6,900 likes and 2,000 comments, 1,400 shares. So 3 little videos there that have given you hopefully a few tips and insights into what we can do on LinkedIn. We find a lot of people come to us and say they don't really have time to do everything that we do. So that's, in essence, we run a managed service for some people. So, if you do want to get in touch and let us help you manage your LinkedIn network, my email is simon.young@limitless.agency, or you can give us a call on 01302 590 050.